Hello friends, this is Ralph and I'm back with another episode of my video series covering every single module of the 2600 synthesizer. Today we are talking about the ring modulator, and as always this tutorial applies to the Behringer 2600, to the original ARP 2600 and to any other 2600 clone. So stay tuned. For those of you who haven't seen the other tutorials yet, I have put a link to the playlist of this video series into the description box of this video and also up here. Watch these videos, hit the like button, share them with your friends, and also, if you haven't done so yet, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. And now, without further ado, let's dive into today's tutorial. Alright friends, we're looking here at the Behringer 2600 Grey Mini. Please be informed that I have connected an Arturia keystep to the Behringer 2600 via MIDI. But of course you can also connect another keyboard to the Behringer 2600, something like this here for instance, the Akai LPK25. You can also connect, if you wish, a digital audio workstation to the Behringer 2600. What you connect is totally up to you. Moreover, today I have connected a Strymon timeline delay and a Strymon BigSky reverb to the Behringer 2600. Because the sounds that you can produce with a ring modulator sound especially nice and UH-like when you play them through a reverb or a delay or both. So both the effects are not activated at the moment, more on the sounds later. But now let's look here at the ring modulator, which is located in the lower third of the Behringer 2600 Grey Mini. The ring modulator is essentially a voltage multiplier which combines two input signals to produce a large variety of harmonic and inharmonic timbres. Now we go through all the slots and sliders here on the ring modulator. First, you have here a pre-wired connection VCO number 1, the sawtooth waveform going into the ring modulator. This connection is pre-wired. Then you have here the adjacent slider to control the input gain. Then here on the right you have VCO number 2, the sine waveform going into the ring modulator. And once again here you have the slider to control the input gain. Then you have the ring modulator output. With a patch cable you can route the signal wherever you want here on the Behringer 2600. But in our case we go with a pre-wire connection going into the VCF, the filter. There's another pre-wire connection, the ring modulator going here into the VCA. But in our case we have turned it down. And finally we have this switch here on the ring modulator. If we turn it upward to audio, the input signal path is optimized for audio. If we turn it down to the DC position, it's optimized for control voltages. That's to put it very, very simply. Later I will give you an example which shows the difference between audio and DC, and then things will become more clear to you. And now let's produce some sounds with the ring modulator. We turn the ring modulator mode to audio. And then once again I want to stress the input signal of VCO number 1 is sawtooth, and of VCO number 2 the input signal is a sine wave. I have turned the gain all the way up, And here in the filter, I have turned the ring modulator input also all the way up. I play a key here on the keyboard, and now I change the frequency of the oscillators and hear what's happening. So you can hear these are some chime bell sounds that I can create with the ring modulator. Adding some reverb. Until now, I have played some notes on the keyboard, but now I want to show you a patch how the Behringer 2600 is playing the ring modulator almost automatically on its own. For this we have to use the sample and hold module. Please be informed that I have already made a tutorial about the sample and hold module. You'll find the link to that video into the description of this video. Check it out if you are not familiar with the sample and hold module. So, to change the frequency of oscillator number 1, we turn up the sample and hold output signal here in the oscillator 1 FM control section. I press a key on a keyboard and you can hear how the frequency of oscillator number 1 is changing. We are going to do the same thing here on oscillator number 2. We turn up the sample and hold output in the control section of oscillator number 2. I'm still pressing a key on the keyboard, and now the sample and hold output is changing the frequency of both oscillators. And now I'm using the sample and hold clock to trigger the envelopes automatically. So now the sample and hold module is playing the Behringer 2600 ring modulator automatically. I add some reverb here on the Behringer 2600. And now I'm going to activate the Strymon effects. I'm giving you an example for the ring modulator working in DC mode. We turn this switch down to the DC position. I press a key on the keyboard and you can hear that both oscillators at the moment are in tune. Okay, here the input signal of VCO number 1 is the sawtooth waveform. But now, because I want to give you an example, I want to show you how the ring modulator in DC mode can work as a VCA, as a voltage controlled amplifier. We are going to use the pulse waveform of oscillator number 1. So we take a patch cable, plug it here in the pulse wave output slot, and plug it here into the VCO number 1 input slot. And now the pulse waveform is running into the ring modulator. That's sawtooth, that's pulse. Okay, now we turn VCO number 1 into LFO mode. We turn this switch down to the label LF. And now listen. You can hear how the waveform is actually creating a control voltage, turning the volume on and off. So right now the ring modulator is working like a VCA. And now listen what's happening when I turn the switch to audio. It yields a different result. I turn the switch back to DC. I think you can clearly hear the difference. Once again, I can bring in the reverb here on the Behringer. Set the switch to audio, the ring modulator mode switch. To DC. And now doing the same thing with the Strymon timeline and the BigSky turned on. It's DC mode on the ring modulator. And now turning it to audio mode. Alright, that's the ring modulator in a nutshell. Start playing around with it. Develop a feeling for it. See how the ring modulator behaves. Start patching the ring modulator with other modules of the 2600 synthesizer. As I said before, I put a link to the other videos of this video series into the description box and also up here. Once again, I kindly ask you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, also follow me on my other social media platforms, and now, as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope I see you again in one of my next videos. Until then, take care, stay safe, peace!